All right, welcome back, everyone. Live from Redhook here at the Function House. Mike Gentile along with Anthony Vitale. And tonight, we want to welcome our very special guest DJs, 2DB.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having us.
What's up, man?
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to the show.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
How'd you guys come up with the name 2DB?
So we went through a whole bunch of different names, actually. Everything involving two. And the old iteration was the number 2DB. But there were a lot of other 2DBs out there, and 2DB being Danny, Brandon, two of us.
A lot of people thought it was like
Drum and bass?
volume levels, you know.
Yeah,
Two
people
decibels.
people came up with all
yeah.
kinds of things. And
It's a good thing, I guess.
yeah,
It is, you know, they kind of made it like their way around, and they were like giving us ways to go with it. But we were like, no, guys, you know, it's just, you know, two people, Danny, Brandon, and it's just that simple. It's not that much more in depth of what you think it is.
it was the one thing no one guessed.
Did
So
they confuse you with like the sound system? There's like a DB audio sound system. Did they say?
we never got that, but I have a Google alert set up on our name in case anything comes up, and
you
I
get a
get
lot of
I
alerts on
get
that?
a lot of stuff that were like just like, oh, these 2DBs were put up in India today, and I'm like, what's a DB and why do I care? But
And we also get a lot, like when we're doing remixes for labels, they're like, guys, can you lower this thing, 2DB? And I'm like, nice joke. I see what you did there.
time it's no pun intended though.
We so since we're called the Function House, and there's a Function One sound systems, right? And so we get a lot of not confusion, but like some people will be like, oh, they don't even have a Function One sound system at the Function House.
Yep.
Like, what kind of place is that? So we get that. We've had some comments on Facebook about
Same
that.
thing, yeah.
It's hard to come up with a name though that like has no relation to anything
Anybody,
at
right.
all. It's almost impossible at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So you guys are both from New York?
I'm from Staten Island.
I'm from Jersey. I was born in Manhattan, so if you want to call me from New York, okay.
right.
But
Jersey's
I've
like,
lived in Jersey since I was 1. So
It's new, so.
It's close.
yeah, but no, we bounced around.
So you guys are keeping busy.
Yeah, we've been, playing together and making remixes for like 2 years now.
Yeah, going on
And,
almost 3, I think, at this point.
Yeah, almost 3.
So you both had separate careers and then you linked up 2 years ago?
Yeah, so we work at this company called Posh. It's like a wedding company. And, I was doing just like regular edits and bootlegs. And he comes from a more, producing background, bands and, all that good stuff. And we were like, let's just sit in the studio and see what happens. And, and we came up with something. And then just trickled down from there. And we just like, hey, let's keep going in the studio. And it kind of worked. We made,
And I mean, we talked about doing that forever.
Yeah.
That it wasn't like we met and we were like, oh, yeah, we should go to the studio, and then the next week it happened. It was, hey, we met, we should, go sit in the studio one day. 3 months later, hey, good to see you again. We should go sit in the studio one day. 6 months later, okay, and it took I think maybe a year and a half before we actually got in the studio.
Yep.
Yeah, but once we did, I mean, we clicked instantly, and it
Who's
was
the computer guy?
Oh, me all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the way. Yeah, I'm the tech guy all the way. I mean, I'm
Sitting on the right side.
I'm the only reason that we're playing on an S9 instead of whatever he wants to use. He'd still be playing on vinyl if he had it his way.
That's right.
But no, I'm most definitely the computer guy and the tech
What are
guy.
you using for production?
Right now in the studio we have Logic, massive amounts of plugins. He has his.
Are they all legal?
Actually, now yes. Finally, yes. We've been lucky enough to do some official remixes that have actually brought in some money for us.
Yep.
And once we started bringing in money, we were like, all right, it's time to stop dealing with all the problems of using cracked plugins. I think it's time to spend some money and buy stuff. Since this is kind of a money making operation now to some degree.
Yeah. You
So
need
we
the support, as fast as
Right,
things get
right.
updated.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
Like you're spending more time trying to find the fixes online than actually doing shit.
Yep.
right?
So we both bought new computers. We basically, loaded up with legit versions of Logic. We bought Nexus 2, which you can't even crack if you wanted to.
Yep.
At least not on a Mac. and we bought Massive and Serum and Silence
You were
and
just spending that money that was coming.
Yeah.
in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we looked at it as an investment
No, of
because
course.
The best investment is in yourself, right?
Yeah. Of course, you
Yeah.
have to.
So what were the tracks that you guys were working on that actually brought in some money?
Our first one was for JagMac. It was called Soldiers. That was our first ever one for which label was
that was an independent release, I think, at that point. But JagMac actually, we would have had no idea 2 years ago, but they were just announced as Disney's next big thing.
So it's good to have a remix under, for them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna blow up, and in the next couple of months. It's insane to see what they've done in the 2 years since we did that mix for them. So that was, I think, the first paid mix we did, and then the second one was for Republic Records for an artist that they had just brought in named Pavlova.
Yep.
I think she's Ukrainian or something. We did a song called "Burn Brighter" for her.
Yep.
That came out awesome. That's still one of my favorite
Definitely
one of my
one of our
favorite
favorites.
remixes we ever done.
So I got a question for you guys. Like obviously the remixing game and just putting out tracks is a really competitive gig right now, right?
Absolutely.
So how did you guys get these official remixes?
So
That we owe entirely to our management, Lucas Prada. He's done nothing but put in work for us since the day we met him.
we've been dealing with Lucas for about a year now.
No,
And
more.
a little
No,
over,
it's
two-
I think it's 2 years now.
2 years now, and in the past 2 years, I mean, in the 2 years that we've known Lucas, our biggest remix, thanks to him, we just did one for Atlantic Records with Macklemore and Jess Glynn to the new Rudimental track called These Days. And he goes out and he goes to the city, he goes to all these places, and he's like, "Yo, guys, you gotta listen to these two. Just give them a chance." And he comes back and he gets us all this work, and
Lucas is the plug.
Lucas
He's
is
been
the
the
plug.
plug.
He is
We
the
did
plug.
we did another one for Niall Horan that came out on Capitol. That was crazy. That was the biggest remix we'd ever done up until the These Days remix for
Yeah.
Rudimental.
So how did you guys get hooked up with Lucas?
That's all you.
So obviously you guys know the DJ Expo and promo only sessions
Yep.
in Atlantic City.
Yep.
I left the club, funny story, I had a little, so much to drink. After Marcus Schultz played, I went to B-Bar in the Borgata, and I'm standing next to Marcus Schultz, and I'm like, "Hey man, let me get a picture real quickly. Like, I loved your set, I love listening to your music." And then, I take the picture, and he walks away, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I look to my left, and I'm like, "This guy looks so familiar." And then it finally hit me, and she said, and I'm like, "That's Lucas Prada." So I go up to him, I was like, "Yo, man, let me get a picture with you." And we just started just having a blatant conversation.
Yep.
And then an hour went by. We kept talking, and it was really cool. I got his number. I sent him one of our songs. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool." He didn't hit me up for a year later, a year and a half later. Yo,
I was like,
man.
"Oh, this guy doesn't like us. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's over."
A year and a half later, he hits me up. He's like, "Yo, can you do me a spec remix for this song?" So we did it. He winded up, getting us something for it. I don't know. It was out of nowhere. We got some money for it. And then he just continued. He was like, "Yo, let me be your manager and see where it goes." And now we're very close friends, actually.
So you see how those things actually happen, right?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
amazing.
Drunk at a bar, you meet Lucas Prada, and then he doesn't call you for a year and a half. You're probably cursing him like this fucking guy. He doesn't call
I was
us.
like, "This guy told me to text him and message him, and he doesn't do nothing."
then-
a year and a half
and
later.
and then he didn't forget about you guys. And
No.
then-
No, not at
and
all.
Now here you guys are.
And I mean, easily. I mean, that was the biggest move we could have made
Yeah.
in our career, especially at that point, because I mean, we were just doing bootlegs and stuff like that.
Yep.
And the biggest support that we'd really had was from the guys over at Digital Music Pool. They support everything we do. They push it really hard. And I mean, all the DJs that are members of that site also are great because the site can push it all they want, but if the guys aren't playing it, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody involved with DMP, was great, but we were having a struggle of getting to that next level. And then,
That's where Lucas helped us.
that without Lucas, that definitely wouldn't have happened.
So this was all before the awards that you guys just won, right? You won an award.
Yes.
Yeah,
long
we actually
before.
won 2 awards. We actually went down to the Winter Music Conference in Ultra, and Digital Music Pool nominated us and the Remix Top 30. They nominated us for Remixer of the Year, Rising Remixer of the Year, and then
Best down tempo turned up.
which was for the Ed Sheeran Perfect.
Is that a genre? Best down tempo.
That was the name of the award. Best down tempo
Down-tempo
turned
turned
up.
up.
Because Perfect was a down tempo song
And you turned it
that
up.
we turned it up.
Yes.
Damn.
So we winded
It
up.
took me a second to wrap my head around that too.
I winded up getting a call from Jay Dobby, and he's like, "Yo, take this record and just do something with it." And I was like, "All right, whatever." I got the acapella, and it's weird because that song's on like a triplet bass with the vocals and how it's sang. It's a ballad, and we winded up doing something at 126.
Yeah, so we actually went in with the acapella, and basically in Logic there's a feature called Flex Time, and we flex timed it out so it wasn't triplets anymore. So we basically sat there for like an hour, just painstakingly, like individually flexing each vocal part to a grid.
So you were doing that. He was on Instagram.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically. I'm glad we understand how this works here.
And
I know all about that. I go through the same thing.
But yeah, no, I mean, and we knew we had to do something, mix show friendly. There was no drop. There was nothing crazy, but it worked, and every single DJ played it.
So the song came out perfect.
I would
No
say
pun
no pun
intended.
intended.
it,
yeah.
it won us an award, so I would say yeah.
It won us an award, and also, Hollywood Hamilton told us it was the most played remix in North America on radio. So in all the mix shows, in every market, it was probably being played. It actually got added in a market in Boston just on regular rotation. So to this day, that was probably one of our most played remixes.
Yeah, when you get a record like that that's out, you're in everyone's face. Every main DJ, like everyone's doing these mix shows, your name is right on the screen. So that's like the most important.
Yeah, and I mean,
So is that? I'm sorry.
no, go right
Is
ahead.
it opening? Like, has that opened up any other doors for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just by even being nominated for that award and for the other two, being down in Miami, we got to meet so many people that we never would have met otherwise. We met Armin van Buuren. Who else did we meet? Cedric Gervais.
Cedric Gervais, Jonas Blue, Diplo. I'm kind of upset that I didn't get to meet Marshmello, but he was standing next to me.
Crying.
Yeah.
The fact that you didn't get to meet him.
There's a lot of other people.
But I mean, just being, and aside from like those massive level guys, everybody that has been playing our music but had never met us, that we met down there, it opened up a lot of collaboration opportunities, a lot of exchanging information and potential collabs for the future that we haven't had a chance to start yet. But
I don't want to brag either, but we were the only group during the Remix Awards that got 2 awards. Everyone was walking around with 1. We were walking around with 2 plaques.
Nice.
technically, we were walking around with 4 because they were nice enough to make two for each award. One for each of us.
That was
yeah.
great.
We were talking about all right, so one of us will take the rising remixer, and one of us will take the best down tempo, and they go, no, guys, we made 2 of each, and we're like, you're so nice, thank you.
Because they didn't want you guys fighting, who's going to keep,
Us fight.
Yeah, like every 2 weeks
Which
you'd be
studio?
rotating the
Yeah.
awards, so that they took care of that.
We argue enough over whose studio we're going to every week.
Because
So-
I heard the prior year, that's the problem they had with the chain smokers. So they only made 1 award for each of them. And
they
then,
got
Oh no, the chain smoker. Their biggest problem was that they were only handed 1 award.
and it almost
Oh,
broke
no.
up the group, and it was a whole big issue. No, like,
I'm sure, and now they probably have to give a 3rd to Matt
yeah,
McGuire.
Yeah, now so another question I have for you guys is in terms of music genre and styles, like what are you guys gravitating towards?
Everything.
We started off with big room and progressive, I guess, and a lot of our first couple of remixes were geared towards progressive house and just that big room, Armada music, W&W sound. And then now we're doing everything from trap, future bass. I mean, I've always liked Jersey Club, but I stopped doing them.
I want to throw him off a bridge every time
And
he
I do
plays
'em.
it, but
But a lot in the set that we have planned for tonight is progressive house and trap and that 150 hard style.
it's a pretty good sampling, I think, of everything that we make and that we enjoy.
A lot of people know that we do radio remixes, and a lot of people support our stuff on radio. But the stuff that we like to play, like like in a club we'll play what we make, but like we have like VIP edits that we like to play that are a ton harder.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, where'd this come from? Type of deal. Like when you
Yeah.
hear the drop, it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know these guys did this stuff, and that's kind of what the reaction that we like to get in the
So
club.
when you guys go into the studio, do you have a plan or just whatever you feel like making at the moment?
It really depends on what's going on that day. I mean, if we have like a deadline, we got to meet on an official remix, or like we heard something, a day or two before that we're like, yo, we got to bootleg this. Like, we'll go in there and with an idea that okay, this is what we want to do. But sometimes, earlier today and last week, we just kind of sat there and we're like, what do we want to do today? And we'll see what comes out. We start something. Maybe we'll play a few notes on the keyboard.
You'll play a few notes.
Yeah,
on
I'll
the
play a few notes on the keyboard. I'm also the
There's like
more
a good balance here. Though.
yeah.
There's a
Well,
good
I'm
balance
the
going
more
on.
trained musician. Like he said, I came from a lot of production and band background. I used to front bands, long before I ever touched dance music. Whereas Danny's been a DJ for like 12, 13 years at this point. I did a little bit in high school, but for a year or two, and then kind of let it go.
Basically, we both produce music, but like he'll do like the chords and like the verses and the vocals and all that stuff. And when it comes down to like percussion and I love doing percussion and kick drums and messing with snares and all that stuff. So like it's a really good balance. And also with my backing in the clubs, I kind of know what works and what will work on the radio. So like I'll have the idea, and he'll just know how to mesh it
Very
together.
important.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, we're lucky to be two people where we could get I get his opinion and he get my opinion, and it just works really, really well right now.
Unless you're working with someone like Mike, and my opinion don't matter.
He's not lying. I'm very difficult.
I can be.
Yeah,
I can be. I mean, I'm sure you've been pretty good about not coming down on me too hard when I'm coming down hard on you.
Yeah, it's a, I give you something, you give me something, and that's it. We just will go work towards it. and work at it.
Well,
that-
listen. You're gonna have to butt heads at some time.
Of course.
At some point, right? I mean, that's just the making of a relationship, right? So, but like obviously you guys are together, and there's a reason why you guys are together because obviously it works.
Oh, yeah,
And
it definitely works really.
no
really well.
relationship is ever going to be smooth sailing the whole way.
Right.
And,
No.
and that's but that shows if you could work through those things, you could make great stuff.
Right.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
We're getting deep on live Redhook today.
You guys are married, right? You're married.
For real.
So I got another question for you guys. Would you ever ghost produce for anybody, or have you ever ghost produced anybody?
We have not.
Have you been approached? Have you ever been approached for that, or?
We haven't. It's something. I honestly, I think Danny and I kind of differ on this one. If we were ever put in that situation, it would be something that we have to talk about as a team.
Yep.
But I mean, me personally, like I don't have a problem lending a helping hand. I would probably have more of a problem making a whole record from scratch that I know is a banger and then giving it away.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you are going to ghost produce, find someone yourself to ghost produce for, and just put them out there. If you're looking to do that.
I'm definitely not looking to do that one bit.
Like,
Yeah.
I would never
no.
use a ghost producer. I'm all about collaboration and everything, but I want people to have the credit that.
They deserve.
Or would you what? Sometimes what people do is they have an alter ego, and they ghost produce for themselves under a different brand. You know what I'm saying? To sort of differentiate. We've had somebody on the show. I mean, we're not going to say who it was, but
Right.
they have like a whole alter ego, where they do something under an alter ego, and actually get booked as that alter ego.
You know what? Listen, I know people that do that as well, and I'm not going to sit here and knock them for it. If it works for you, and if you make money off of it, and that's what your plan is to do, God bless, do it. But for me, he would really have to really talk me into doing it.
Or there has to be some serious cash in front of it.
Cash is king.
I mean, sometimes, like I can see where sometimes, sometimes a person gets labeled and they get stuck in this one lane and everybody just associates that person with.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so I see it as, you know, it's actually a good opportunity for somebody if they want to break that label and sort of go in a different direction to get into maybe some other type of music that they want to be involved in.
Absolutely.
And it gives them that opportunity because they may not get that opportunity as the label.
I'm
that they have.
a huge supporter of that. I mean, you look at guys like W&W, right? Like they came out of, you know, being trance DJs and then became known for this, you know, big room sound, and they can't put out trance music as W&W anymore because W&W fans, that's not what they're looking for. So they started their side project, New Year.
How about .com and Marshmallow?
There
that's
you go.
A huge example right there.
Yep.
So.
And I mean, even me, like I haven't put anything out yet with it, but you know, I produce trance music in my spare time. 2DB could never put out a trance record.
No, never.
We can't.
Well, see, the thing is this, like nobody really knows, but me and Anthony are really Daft Punk.
Man.
Honored to meet you.
You know, we wanted to break away from Daft Punk.
You do great
started-
American accents for a bunch of French guys.
We started the show, and it was just like, we got to do something different. You know, to give
So what's
back.
next for you guys? What's going? What's the next couple months look like?
So the next thing we have, well, we have a few singles coming up. Actually, one tonight he is going to be singing. It's called Need Ya.
It's gonna be, I guess, a national premiere. I guess.
Yeah, for
Right?
everyone to see and hear. I mean,
World premiere.
World premiere. The only people that have ever heard it before. We did a show 3 weeks ago in Richmond, Virginia, and we decided spur of the moment that we were gonna do it, and I was gonna sing it live.
So you play instruments and you sing.
I do. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and I mean most of what I did with bands was the front man. I was the singer and the screamer when I was in a metal band. But yeah, I know. Can you tell? But yeah, no. So we decided, you know, at that show during sound check, we were like, I think tonight we should do it. Like we should play this song out. It wasn't even a finished mix yet at the time, but it was good enough to play. So we decided to do that, and it was awesome, and it went over amazing. So I think we're gonna do that tonight.
That's cool. Well, we're looking forward to hearing you guys. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
Questions, yeah? All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to get 2DB up on the set. Peace.
Peace.